I'll give you a clue. It was Grimsby.
They are pressing quite well. What's happened there? You've got to be joking.
Oh, sorry, I've done it the wrong way around because I've drawn an arrow and I haven't seen it. Sorry.
He must have a horseshoe up his arse.
If we're playing on professional and that's happening for Barcelona...
2 years ago. Sorry about that, I don't know what that was.
I'm sorry, that's just put me off the game. I'm not having that.
Anyway, segue, moving on.
What has that got to do with football? Why is that at a football ground?
Hello and welcome to the Honest Football Podcast, where we bring honesty back to the beautiful game. I'm Craig Savage and with me as always is Charlie Betts and Daniel Cody. Charlie, what have we got in store for tonight?
On the show this week, we focus on the national leagues, any other business, and it unofficially sponsored by Noe Pamero, name the Matchday Squad.
So, how's your week been, guys?
Not too bad, mate.
Good.
Since we last met a week ago, thank you for that contribution.
No worries.
I should point out in the background here, we're watching Hibernia... Oh, no, we're not, are we?
Yes, we are.
Hibernian
I
ladies,
should
yeah.
point out in the background, watching Hibernia Ladies v Glasgow City. We picked it up about an hour in, and it is 0-0 in the 20th minute of extra time. So if you hear any loud cheers, it's because there's been a goal, and Craig Savage is extremely excited.
It's about time we had a goal, because the game has not been good, to be honest.
But we could have penalties,
We
and
still
that will
got
be live
penalties.
on air. Sorry?
You had a very nice cake today,
Yes,
is that right?
well, not today.
Was it not today?
Since we last met, it has been my birthday. I've hit the wrong end of the 20s, unfortunately, now.
Yeah,
And
you're just as, well, the granddaddy of football, you do look like you're about 68.
still got a few years on you, mate. It was pointed out to me this week that the sides of my hair were more grey than brown now, which was nice.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Very true.
And it was also pointed out that I'm getting old, which is great.
That's very true.
But more importantly, birthday means birthday cake.
It does.
And you cannot go wrong, not with an official M&S Colin the Caterpillar cake, but with an Asda rip-off Clyde the Caterpillar cake.
Clyde or Clyde?
Clyde.
Clyde.
YDE. Now this cake serves 16.
Serves 16.
I showed a little bit very nicely,
Right.
and then I have demolished the rest.
So Dan, if you're being honest, out of the, and I put inverted commas, 16 portions,
Yes.
honestly, how many do you think you ate?
A good 12.
In how many days?
Well, let's not put in days, about 36 hours, I'd say.
Cody, I remember having that
That's a
cake.
slice every 3 hours.
No cream, no ice cream. Get it dry, get it in. It's a good job.
That sounds so wrong.
Thank you very much.
Get it dry, get it in.
Oh, let's be professional
cream.
adults.
Clyde the Caterpillar. Does Clyde look like Colin the Caterpillar or not?
Almost.
Oh.
A couple of slight problems. Colin is very tasty because he has white chocolate legs. Whereas Asda have made the mistake of going for fondant or marzipan. And
Oh, no.
we've all had fondant and marzipan the cake, and it just ruins it now. I'm pretty sure it's fondant. I don't think you get marzipan for that price. But we had orange fondant, and in his face was this big walloping chunk of green fondant. Green fondant!
Can you put a picture up for the...
I'm not, because I've fucking eaten it, haven't I?
No, you just go to Asda.
I'm going to Asda to take a picture as well.
Story you've ever done.
Clyde the cat.
Keep going, keep going.
I remember having this when it was a 6-year-old birthday party.
Yes, and
Burger King.
at 26 I thought I'd do the reunion.
Clyde the
So
cat.
out of 10, what would you rate Clyde?
What would you rate Clyde?
To be honest, I mean, I know it's my own fault for not having cream or ice cream. It's a little bit dry. Look, it really pissed me off because the fondant
Just rate Clyde!
got stuck to the chocolate exterior, and then you lost out on some of the
Can
chocolate.
we rate Clyde for me?
6.5.
What about the cake?
6.5.
Clyde and the cake.
It's the same thing. Clyde is the cake.
You understand that, Craig?
Yeah, I know.
He didn't get an actual caterpillar with you. It was
No.
6.5 out of 10. Average cake. Lovely bit of reminiscence of youth, and now I feel very old, unfortunately.
and very sick as well, by the sounds of
Yeah.
it.
I feel absolutely fine.
Charlie, what about you?
No, just work. I went to Scotland to watch Rangers Hibs.
Oh,
Literally,
yeah.
Probably one of the most
Supporting your
boring.
second team, are we?
One of the most boring games I've ever seen. You keep saying this second team thing, and I know you're trying to get a nibble out of me. Your issue is you support two teams who are a
This is
league
a bit
apart.
This is a bit of a nibble
No,
now,
no,
isn't
but
it?
it's something I need to get off my chest. You support two teams who are the league apart. Me following another team in a complete different league where it's impossible for them to play each other does not mean that I support two teams.
And my problem is when Luton were in the conference, I didn't see Craig at Kennel
No,
Club.
exactly,
What
no.
was that,
Craig
Kevin?
only supported
I
one
went to
team.
Alfreton.
Craig only supported one team till about 6 months ago. to be fair to him.
Salisbury.
So, yes, you're just naming clubs. Well done.
No.
As you've started mentioning football we've been to and watched this week, I should obviously mention that the main game I've been to was Luton v Oxford, which ended with a title party, a wonderful occasion, and well done to Luton Town.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Don't want to be too biased. So moving on to that, I also watched some EFL football. I'm going to say legal streams. On iFollow.
No,
You're a disgrace.
You've sold out.
You
I sold out.
sold out.
Because the Sky Sports Now TV mobile pass I won in the McDonald's Monopoly earlier in the year only covers Sky Sports Premier League and Sky Sports News, which everyone's got already. So as part of that, and I've also now got 4 of the 5 months and not the football season, so that's not particularly good either. So I used iFollow to watch a League 2 game, and that game was Macclesfield Town.
Oh, unbelievable, wasn't it?
It was an absolutely horrific game of football, but Macclesfield did the job.
Yeah.
And you've got to say to Sol Campbell, motivating his players, as we mentioned last week after not being paid, brilliant achievement.
Yeah, I think all of us probably have got a bit of egg on our face on the way we lambasted him. I think we did it for the right reasons. I don't take away for... I don't retract what I thought at the time. However, I do completely retract that I did. At no point did I think he'd be as successful as he has been.
Don't want to be a party pooper for Macclesfield, but obviously the start of the second half was a bit delayed because there was glass in the penalty area, right in the goal mouth. Surely that must be a fine.
Well, maybe. I can't imagine that's Sol Campbell's fault, is it?
No, I'm not blaming Sol. I'm not blaming Sol at all. It's some fan has thrown a bottle onto the pitch, it's smashed it, and that's very.
Well, it would be fine, but I think the fact they saved their Football League status was a more.
Well, hopefully, if it's a fine, obviously I don't want clubs to get fines, but that's very dangerous.
Well, it is very dangerous, yeah.
And obviously, considering that Macclesfield haven't been paying their players and their staff for the last 6 weeks.
My argument would be I don't like to lambast officials because...
We like the word lambast today, don't we?
Thank you. I don't like to do that to officials because they have a very difficult job, but I'm pretty sure they're responsible for checking the pitch and the nets.
When they come out, but... Anyway, you can't take away from that. But anyway, so that's the football you watch.
Moving on to some more positives from the lower leagues, it has been the National League playoffs. We will be talking a bit later on about the finals, but obviously one of the games from Sunday was a dramatic penalty shootout involving Salford City.
Yes.
And you are a big fan, Craig.
I am a massive fan of Salford
City. As they made their way straight through to the final.
Oh wow, they done it. Well, they got there in the end, don't they?
All I'm saying is that if Tim Flowers had been not been a goalkeeper, then no, I'm joking. No,
it's not going.
I think we won't. Yeah, I mean it's an unbelievable thing for Solihull Moors.
I think it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable for Salford and for Fyle, to be honest.
No, I know you're an advocate of theirs, but if you consider the
I watched them in the lower leagues.
I mean, I don't profess no loads of this, but the gap between Solihull and Salford, you know, the wage, all of it, the whole thing's, they're literally worlds apart.
And
aren't they?
I mean, I guess the good thing now with Salford and Fylde, and no matter what you say about me and Salford, is there is going to be a new team in the Football League, and that's exciting.
Well, it was going to be a new team in football before the play started,
and that's going to be really exciting. So as soon as Wrexham were out, we knew that was going to be the case. And then I want to move on. I know it's something we don't talk about a lot, but I think we do have to talk about the elite side of the game for one stage this week.
Because it has
been one of the most beautiful sides of the beautiful game. We often talk about the fact that we don't mention the Premier League much because it's quite a tactical and it's become a lower scoring league.
It's something we don't probably follow for that reason.
I think the Champions League used to be tarnished with that brush, particularly when we were growing up in the 2000s. There were a lot of methodical Italian sides winning, But now... I mean, this week of football, we can't really add much to it.
You cannot.
No,
if you don't get excited for this week of football, then you're not really a football fan.
And I'll tell you one man who didn't get excited, Craig.
This pissed me off so much. So unfortunately, I more for financial reasons, but slightly out of protest for those financial reasons, I haven't got Sky Sports Football or any of those, or BT Sport. So no, the point you're jumping in, Craig. So I can only listen to it on the radio or follow it on Sky Sports News and things like that. So obviously I had the gist of what was going on through the various social media outlets, but I thought I'd put on Sky Sports News just to catch the reaction at the end.
Get involved.
So this is when Liverpool were playing Barcelona, and Darren Bent, you know when they have like the man who watches the game and he relays what's happening. I would say that he was fairly, laid back throughout the last 10-15 minutes, considering how the game had gone.
Which you would as a neutral, to be fair.
I was slightly surprised by, but obviously, at full time, whistle goes, 4-0, an unbelievable game performance, as we've already spoken about. I kid you not, you'd have thought that Darren Bent had just seen the final whistle of a 0-0 draw without a single shot on target.
But we're about to see in this Birmingham Glasgow.
Literally, I even recorded it. It just was just to show you lads. The final whistle went, and Darren Bent's words were, "Final whistle, yeah, great game." Well, fucking hell, Dan, you're being paid a couple of grand to do this, mate. I want a bit of excitement, lad.
I'm sure he's not been paid a
couple
couple
of grand. But, jeez, you're like a professional footballer. Just like, I don't know, just give me something more than, oh yeah, and it's final whistle, great game.
But
I know it was a great game, it's 4-0 for crying out loud, Darren.
Let's not.
On the other hand, Jamie O'Hara was doing the Spurs game.
Well, yeah.
Unfortunately, he got caught. He was live for the second goal, Luca's second goal, and then unfortunately the third goal was during the break. But obviously, all the audio
I'm just
was
saying,
off.
anyone, you didn't even need to support Liverpool or Barcelona to be excited by that. I just expected more of Darren Bent, if I'm honest.
That was the thing for me. I mean, I'm lucky the opposite way around. I haven't got Sky, but I've got BT. So the Champions League and the Europa League is most of the football I see. And they were just, even as a neutral, I was sitting on the edge of my seat for the last 10 minutes. It's absolutely brilliant. And football does that to you. You saw some of the emotion at the end. It was absolutely fantastic.
Fortunately for you, Charlie, you can watch the Champions League final for free. And now it's time for Ramble of the Week.
And we start with the non-league playoff finals, which will all be occurring this weekend. So one of the games I will be glued to tomorrow, as there aren't many games on TV that aren't on Sky Sports, is the National League Promotion Final. One of the biggest, well, the biggest game in non-league football. Yeah. And as we mentioned a bit earlier on, there's going to be a new side in the EFL, either Salford City or Fylde. Come on, Fylde! So they have built up, and it's going to be a new side, and it's going to be a fantastic day out. One that we nearly went to before we decided on the FA Finals day instead. So, the Vanarama National League Promotion Final. I want to make a complaint about ticket prices before we start.
Go for it, yeah.
So you remember when we were looking into it, and it was 20 quid a ticket as you were buying it for a neutral at the start, and then obviously we decided against it because we could get 2 games 25.
I did hear it's doubled.
So, not far off, Craig. Once it got decided which 2 sides were in it, and those fans had the opportunity, because obviously for us as neutrals we thought, we'd get a ticket 3 months in advance. But if you're a Fylde or Salford fan, you're not going to go if your rivals might be there.
You don't know.
So Salford might have thought they'd won the league. Fylde were hovering at the bottom of the playoffs around Christmas. They thought they might not be in it. So now, level 1, category 1, £41.
It's jumped from 25 to 41.
No, from 20.
Sorry, 20 to 41.
Level 1, category 2, £36. That's the cheapest ticket.
For National League.
For the National League Promotion Final, 90,000 seater for 2 relatively up and coming sides.
Yeah.
I remember paying £30 for Luton against York at Wembley.
Yes.
I will say though, Luton are a lot more established than Salford.
That's not the point.
No, but what I'm saying is that they would have had a much larger following. So I suppose that's why.
Charge them more.
I just want to mention a point, Craig, that's quite important here. Is we talked earlier in the year in a quiz question about Fleetwood, getting to Fleetwood from Luton. And obviously, not far from there is AFC Fylde, up in the Blackpool region up there. And that is a very difficult journey at the best of times.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily this is a 3 o'clock kickoff.
Which makes a change, to be brutal.
But the prices when I was looking at trains for getting up to that region of the country, we were talking 60, 70 quid. That was 2 months in advance. So God knows 2 weeks in advance.
I don't know if this is true, so I'm just going to speculate. I don't think, obviously, quite a lot of tickets have not been sold.
No.
I think only 2,000 Salford fans. I don't think many Fylde fans have.
It doesn't surprise me.
It's obviously it's a long journey for both teams.
Yeah.
And this is a thing, because in the National League, it used to be the case back in the day that it was at the highest place team's home ground, like it is in the North and South. But in this occasion, it's not in the National League now. We play them at Wembley.
But surely...
I remember that game's been at Leicester and Stoke.
Yeah, that was a stage in between. But that's what I mean. We've always had localities, or we've had the home ground of the highest placed team. And now we're playing them all at Wembley, and we've got 2 northwest sides.
I was about to say, would it not have made sense to obviously have had it somewhere like, maybe Old Trafford might have been too much, but somewhere around that area, even somewhere a bit lower, Aston Villa or something like that even. It's not
Villa Park, because they would have the playoffs, but like...
The Etihad?
No, but something like that, do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, maybe. Well, so we had that with Luton and Wimbledon.
Wigan, Leeds, there's so many options in the North West. Blackburn, there's hundreds of them.
Don't understand why they needed to do that there,
It's just a bit of a strange one for me. But obviously, it was planned months in advance. It's great that neutrals could have gone for 20 quid. But then why put the bloody prices up?
Yeah,
That's just taking a piss out of fans.
That's a bit shit.
Which obviously... the elite levels happened again with the Europa League and Champions League, and it just seems to happen at all levels. And people do forget, because obviously we're talking about English fans flying Europe, we do forget that over here we're just as guilty of it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it's a bit of a shame. One other thing that's annoyed me about it, and a lot of people as well, I don't know if you experienced this when you booked our tickets for the FA Finals Day.
Yeah.
Postage, if requested, will be charged at £2.50 per order. Fair enough, you've got to pay for the stamps, and they normally do it signed delivery. If you want to print the tickets at home...
Yeah, there was a charge for that.
You print the tickets at home on your printer, on your piece of paper.
Like
you have to pay £1 per order.
Oh, £1. No.
Someone
Why?
please explain that to
So
me.
someone for them to convert it basically to like a PDF or something and send it to you.
Oh, bore off.
Honestly,
man.
that's why. So in the end, that's for an extra £1 or whatever. I can get the actual tickets and not have to worry about it then. I feel like if I'm paying that
come
money,
on.
I might as well like get an actual memento because I'm hardly going to keep printing out my own piece of paper of some like because my printer's crap as
Pitching
well.
versus Solihull Moors in the FA
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, but no, what I mean is
is there a
at least you get a
charge?
ticket. Yeah, £1 to send
So you're
email
getting
a
charged for
PDF.
using your own ink.
Yes.
Well, I assume they're
and your
paying-
own paper, don't
I
forget.
assume
No,
you're
no,
paying
no.
for their little bit of electricity it takes to ping that PDF across as an email.
Oh, fuck off.
But after
ridiculous.
charging double the amount than you had before, it seems a little bit rich. But anyway, let's focus on the game. Let's get our predictions in. When this ramble comes out, unless there was an hour and a half penalty shootout, the game will be finished. So, who do you think's going to win? And we'll see how well it
let
ages.
you boys go
Let's
first.
go for score predictions.
You're the aficionado. on this YouTube.
I like Filed. I think that Danny Rowe's on form. I thought Danny Rowe wiped the socks off and there against Harrogate. I would go for a Salford 2-1 win.
It's normal time or extra time, Craig?
Extra time.
Extra time.
Extra time.
Charlie Betts. I mean,
Yeah,
this
yes,
is
Gary Neville
complete-
will be there,
complete-
by the way, before Cody has a little
Complete stab in the dark, and I'm hoping for a bit of drama. Penalties, Filed.
And
I'm just gonna, sorry.
Sorry.
I'm saying no. Go for your prediction.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Filed, a boring game, and a Danny Rowe winner. 89th minute penalty.
And anti-Salford. No. I'm just going.
It's not anti-Salford, it's a prediction. You didn't say that to Charlie, he predicted the same outcome.
Yeah, he has no clue.
The man don't even have a brain.
No, just looking at Files ground. Also, they've got this newish ground.
It's halfway through its development, basically, isn't
But
it?
I'm saying, would that be qualified for EFL standards?
I think it does, because with the EFL you don't have to change things for a 3-year period. Don't forget you can still have terracing in the EFL, so...
I would.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's literally it's not really a terrace beyond one goal.
Well,
What I would say is I would hold the phone on that.
then again,
because-
I hold the phone because Oxford have only got 3 stands.
I mean, it's not even out the way they keep going on about these ground gradings. It could easily change before you know it, and you'll have a 90,000 seater stadium playing League Two.
We don't even know how big the referee's changing room is.
No, exactly. Yeah, they
Well,
might need to knock out the
obviously,
toilet.
clearly big enough to actually comply with it. But yeah, I think it'd be obviously a big good game. It'd be a good advert for non-league football. Of BT Sport will have good coverage, as
Which
usual.
is good. They've had coverage of all of the playoffs, which is really good, and plenty of coverage.
And
during
obviously,
the
BT
season.
Sport should be doing the non-league finals there as well.
They are. They're doing both games, and myself and Charlie being there for definite. We'll try and get ourselves on camera at some point, so you may get to see our
Well,
faces.
we could have been in the media suite, but someone
I
moaned.
think, unfortunately, the tickets I booked might be a bit too high. So in the sense of in the stand. But I think it'll be quite empty. You probably run down. I think it's just a case of getting in and then...
You'll be fine from
Yeah,
that.
I think we have to wait, and obviously, I presume there'll be more Leyton Orient fans because obviously they'll be the second game.
Yeah.
So the first game it'll probably be a relatively free pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually been to Wembley before for an FA Vars final. I was unfortunately in the Posh Club Wembley seats at that point, which ironically the food, hot dogs and wedges. But still,
I
That's
wouldn't mind that.
perfect.
Yeah.
no, but it's not what you expect at Club Wembley.
No,
is
I'll
it?
give you that.
I don't understand why people stay there for 15 minutes after half time when all they've got in there is hot dogs and wedges, unless they do something different for the big
I'll
games.
probably do caviar for England.
But
games and stuff.
again, a
Yeah,
bit like you
all
mentioned,
sandwiches.
the FA Vars final was relatively sparsely
Yeah.
filled stadium, and then they start to pile in around half time or full time. Because the weird thing, because of the possibility of extra time penalties, they have 2 hours between the games.
Of course, yeah.
What's the second game? Quarter past 4?
you said 4:15,
4:15 or 4:30, yeah, around that
Yeah.
time. Which again, a bit tricky. Luckily, again, we've got Leyton Orient locally, but for Filed,
Yeah.
4:30, a week after being at Wembley before, how the hell are you getting home? And that just means you're
On a-
staying
on a
at home.
Sunday.
I didn't
On a
think they'd
Sunday
get
as
trained.
well.
I think they would go by coach.
Well,
But
they'll have to, but that's strange. But
that's brilliant. VAR, 2 weeks at Wembley.
yeah,
Brilliant.
but obviously the one slightly sad note is that obviously one of the things we like in the playoffs is we want it to reward the teams who have done the best in the league that year. Solihull Moors had a brilliant year. They finished up in the top 3 and unfortunately didn't make the final. So,
Well,
bit of a shame,
that's
but
the playoffs for you, mate. That's
AFC
the
Filed
playoffs.
have got a goal scorer and anything can happen at that
That's
point.
the well, they scored after 2 minutes, didn't they?
Moving on really quickly, we'll talk about National League sort of stuff. There was just something that come across on... We were just talking about, why are you looking at that? We were just literally talking about National League.
Just very quickly, just want to say this weekend on, I think Sunday, there's also the North and South finals.
Oh, okay.
So
Are they on TV?
they're not on TV,
But
unfortunately.
who's in the final?
Chorley,
Well, they should-
who had a
they
flying
should-
start to the
very good
season, the Spennymoor Town, who put out Charlie's prediction Brackley
Oh, yeah.
at the weekend.
Oh no!
And
Southern team in
shame.
the league. I thought they'd get through.
then in the south is the team I predicted to win the playoffs, which was Woking, and they are against Welling United. 2nd v 3rd, what we like to see.
Well, we'll find out all the results from them, and then we'll have our own review show from our predictions from the start of the season. and just showed how crap we are.
Yeah.
Well, particularly two of you.
Just really, really quickly, it was just maybe lead to a little bit of debate. I think we probably will be on the same side of the fence of this, but Andy Holt was saying, so basically on the he was in a meeting with a lot of representatives of the other EFL clubs and stuff, and they were basically voting on whether plastic pitches would be allowed in the EFL.
Seems to come up every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and again, they basically voted no, and his argument was, obviously the story of Sutton United, was it last season when they nearly went up, or the year before?
Yeah, they were in the playoffs.
And actually, it would have cost them,
more to take it
They
out.
generate income from having a plastic pitch.
And the problem is, one, it benefits the community, but secondly, you don't know that you're not going to go down in the first year. Just that's all it needs. I don't agree that you should have plastic pitch in the EFL long term. It's a professional league, but to have that 1 season leeway, like you do with some of the stadium rules, would just be so sensible.
He was saying it was suggested by.
I think it's not. Technically, it's obviously it'd be an unfair advantage if they had it for that 1 season, because you never know. They could do a double promotion, and then they could go up to League One, then have.
Yeah, but the problem is, so many sides come back down, and then all you're doing is putting them straight out of business again because they've spent so many thousands and thousands on a grass.
Well, what we got to remember, this is the FA.
But what they were saying is that. A couple of clubs suggested, is there a way we could come up with some sort of grant for those clubs to then encourage them to
another good idea
to change that. But again, that was not blackballed, whatever it is. They voted no on it, so it's not going to change anytime soon. So unfortunately, if you do have a plastic pitch,
so again, the clubs had come up with quite a sensible solution, and the FA had rejected it.
EFL, wasn't it?
Well,
EFL,
sorry, but
sorry.
Same sort of.
Apologies, FA. It wasn't you this time.
The authorities, but yeah, it's sad, really. That that's but that's that.
While we're on the non-league, I'll carry on with another part of the non-league news this week, which was there was an interview from or an article, from a website I've used before. So thebootifulgame.com, which was the one I used for the Brilliant Sound United article a few weeks back. But this time it was talking about season ticket prices for next year for National League clubs. And there is one club who have been a little bit controversial with their price rise. So, can anyone guess what team that may be in the National League? Who have had a surprisingly good season?
Let me have a guess. I'm going to go for a surprise one. I'm going to go for Harrogate Town.
Well, Craig Savage must know this bit of news because it is Harrogate Town. So Harrogate Town have increased their season ticket prices, standing ticket, terraced standing ticket, from what was already £277 to £312, which may I just point out...
Where's the 12 come from?
May I just point out...
312 to stand?
Which may I just point out is more than I paid to sit at any Luton season during their National League spell. While it will now cost to sit, instead of £303, it will now cost £342, which is more than I paid for my early bird Luton season ticket last year for the League One winning campaign.
That's crazy. I mean, where they've got 312 and 342 as well, I don't get. But anyway.
So just some comparisons in the similar region of the country. So obviously Harrogate have got some reasons. I'll read the statement in a minute. But Huddersfield Town, who obviously went down in the Premier League this year, not a great season, but the last 2 years when they've been in the Premier League, their cheapest season ticket, £299.
So less than...
Similar region of the country. Bradford City, obviously they have a very big ground and they've had some difficulties. Their early bird season ticket is £150.
Wow.
So we're starting to see a bit of a problem here. But I want to talk about the statement that came out from Harrogate afterwards, because it was, I'm going to call it a bit pathetic. They've used the excuse, as our household bills increase, we need to increase the prices. We want to make ourselves sustainable and keep improving our playing squad, which, that's lovely, but you don't need to charge every fan an extra 40 or 50 quid. Lots of fans have said, well, you've put the prices up an extra 50 quid to gain a bit of money, and now you're going to lose the 280 I was already paying at a rip-off rate.
Yeah, exactly.
So it looks like their season ticket sales, despite the brilliant year they've had on the pitch after promotion, are going to go down just because they've put up their prices slightly.
Isn't it, really?
And it just proves if you go too far, there is a point where fans will say no. And fair play to the fans for doing it, and I hope a lot of them do until they rethink it.
I did see something that it was dispute with them and Filed over the because you normally have like with the match fees and tickets, and obviously it's split. The cost of it's split, obviously both sides. But Harrogate weren't having it, so I think Harrogate wanted a bit more money from it than what Farr.
Sounds like they're being a bit too greedy.
Yes.
Too greedy, a bit too big for their boots at the moment. So
the supporters trust at Harrogate Town, or the supporters club, sorry, the member who did the interview after was Jordan Ford, and he had made quite. Careful.
You do this every time.
Every single time. Do you want to know his Twitter handle while we're
at
there?
Craig 789.
Oh dear. But I'm trying to make a serious point here, Clyde. He pointed out that in the region, about 50% of their regular hardcore support came from fans who at younger ages were priced out of Leeds and Manchester United and similar clubs in the region. And as a result, they're now at the stage where the match day and season ticket prices are almost the same amount as Leeds United. It's absolutely crazy.
It is absurd.
And he just says, unfortunately, we're going to lose a lot of the new support coming in. Even the youth tickets aren't particularly cheap. So for himself and his 2 children, he said it's now going to be over £500, and that's absolutely ridiculous.
That is absurd.
I tell you what, go and watch Bradford Park Avenue or City Liverpool.
Or Bradford City,
to be honest.
Or go Bradford City. League 2 football. Clyde and Harrogate.
In a week of brilliant news for non-league, that was just an absolute moment of madness for me.
Would you like to know somewhere you can watch free football?
Yes.
Legally? Or?
No. Just you know, I think we need to go on a bit more of a campaign to let people know where you can watch free football on a Saturday or something like that on TV, obviously, and not have to pay for it. Yeah.
Or live.
Well,
all
right.
actually, technically, you can.
What I mean
you
is
can
that you obviously can't get
I
that.
mean, I'm hoping we can do a lot more ground hopping next season.
Yeah.
Obviously, a bit of a
Oh,
trick.
don't
I mean, I
know.
presume it'll be largely me and Charlie doing it.
No, I don't know. I'm not as reliable as
No,
him,
he's
to be
not.
fair.
Well, I'll give you some reports if nothing else.
No, but just to, if you're interested, roughly at the time that this will be going out, the game should still be going on. There is a match between Cliftonville and Glentoran.
Yes.
The Europa League playoff.
Final.
Final. Obviously, the way they do that with the playoffs to get the Europa League, whoever wins that is a guaranteed $200,000, which for a semi-professional club is good bit
It's
of money.
massive.
And it's just another place you can watch football for free on the TV.
And
last
where can
Saturday,
they
by
watch
the way,
it, Charlie?
on BBC
2 Northern Ireland.
There you go.
What I would
BBC
say
Northern
is last Saturday was an unbelievable day for free football. We put it on our Twitter, didn't we? There was literally free football all the way from 12 in the afternoon.
Down till 9:30 at night.
Half
Because
nine
obviously
night.
we've got the ITV for La Liga coverage on
Yeah.
the Saturday or Sunday night as
There was
well.
cup finals.
Free Sports
there
have
was
always
all
got games from Italy
Unfortunately,
or
there was a picture of Charlie in his pants
What?
on
What's that?
Twitter. Yeah. Oh, did you not post it on Twitter?
When did this happen?
Oh, did you not post it on Twitter? I thought you posted it on Twitter.
I'd like to hope he
What
did.
picture of me in my pants?
If he
Oh,
did,
I
we're
thought
not going to
you
have
No,
any
I was
views.
sat. No, I was not in my pants. I was sat there eating a bowl of chilli watching. What was the lunchtime game? Brighton. Oh, who was it? Brighton Spurs or something?
Brighton
Oh, Bournemouth Spurs.
Bournemouth
yes.
Spurs. Sorry.
Oh, my apologies.
No,
My
that was not.
apologies.
That was my cushion. Fuck's sake.
Well,
And
what are you doing
again,
under your
the
cushion?
relationship deteriorates.
Sorry.
No, you're right. No. Have you got any other big stories?
Oh no, I think we can move on to any other business now, lads.
So, just a little one for me that there's been announced. I think I mentioned this a while back, but there is going to be a Champions Cup in Ireland. So the winner of the Irish League will play the winner of the League of Ireland.
Yes.
So the North and South. It was something they done a few years ago, but then the sponsorship, which was Satana at the time, ran out. It's now going to be sponsored by the Unite the Union Champions Cup.
You what?
That's
Unite
quite,
the Union.
given the context,
Unite
that's not
Union.
bad.
Unite the Union.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know. Yeah,
Is that EU?
But it's going to be a two-legged affair. So because obviously the
Play one in Northern Ireland, the other one in Republic.
yeah, obviously like that, and yeah, but it'll have to be in November because obviously League of Ireland's a summer league.
Yep.
But it's just I suppose a nice way, and hopefully get a bit of harmony between the two.
Football is a community game and it can be for
There you go.
everyone.
But the one that I really wanted to talk to you about was in Gillingham. So
Okay.
Oh yeah. I've
around
seen
this time
I've
of
seen
year,
this. It's
obviously,
ridiculous.
you know, clubs are releasing players. There's a lot of activity on Twitter from
Somebody that
professional
plays
clubs,
transfer,
isn't there?
put them on transfer list.
This
could
one's
be
a funny one. I've got a much more negative one coming up.
There's like highlights, montages, things like that.
However-
Gillingham, however, had a job vacancy. Don't know. Would you like to have a quick guess at roughly what they might have been advertising for?
I know the
on their
answer.
Twitter
So
account.
I know the answer. So I'll let you
Media
answer.
manager, youth
No.
coaches,
No. I'll give you a clue. They're a pre-match entertainment.
tannoy announcer.
No, not talent announcer. No, they were after a harpist.
Okay.
Someone who can play the harp.
You almost asked that question as if I was going to guess that at any point in the first 100.
So basically, the club are trying to make their pre-match entertainment a bit more cultured. So they're trying to form an ensemble. And part of that was they were after a harpist. So if you
What
go
on
to Gillingham,
earth?
you might not hear the usual,
Drummer.
emotive music. You might hear a bit of Bach.
Wouldn't you
or
go
something
for like a
that.
choir that can strum up an atmosphere?
Yeah.
Just one harpist, just
No. I think the harpist was part of... They want the harpist or part of a band. You know, like...
Oh, right, okay.
A massive drummer that's going to...
So you might hear a bit of Mozart instead when you go to next time you go to the priest.
I mean, I like the idea, but I think you've sold us a bit sneakily there, to be brutally honest.
If they do get a harpist, by the way, let us know, because we want to know. We won't be going to gin them at any point because it's absolutely ridiculous.
So yeah, basically what their plan is to have people serenaded by some Mozart, beautifully performed in the style of an 18th century court musician.
You want that?
I mean, if you don't want that football,
you want to get pumped to get ready for a football game. You go, right, I'm off to the football. I'm nervous. I'm getting excited. And here's the harpist.
I'll
make you relax.
Mozart's violin concerto.
Beethoven's bollocks.
I would say one thing. I would say one thing. When Gillingham came to Luton this season, there was quite I don't know how to say this, there was a group of fans who wanted to cause a bit of trouble, unfortunately. Right. So maybe they're just trying to calm the pre-match atmosphere among the fans if they've had trouble in the ground. So, but it's a nice thing to have some culture.
Or just have more than a one-man team.
Imagine if you're a ground hopper to the country and you go, oh look, we're near Gillingham, let's go to Gillingham, and you see a harpist pre-match. You ain't forgetting that. You ain't forgetting that. Can I move on to the more negative side of the retained and released list, though, which was, again, unfortunately, from Ebbsfleet United, who we've mentioned a few times. We had one a few weeks ago where they refused to come out and warm up and made the chairman sign a document in the dressing room.
That was insurance.
This week, they put out their list on Twitter of released players and on their club website, and one of those players was Dean Rance, who'd been there a few years and worked really hard. And Dean Rance was the first person to reply to that tweet to say, oh, thanks for telling me, lads.
No!
Manager Gary Hill said I was getting a new contract last week.
No!
And all of the fans...
on Twitter.
Also, they put the release list up. The chairman obviously presumably put it up or arranged for it. And one of the players presumed he was getting a new contract, knew nothing about it, and then just said, cheers for letting me know that the subject has changed since I was getting a new contract.
That's awful.
And obviously, we have to say with the boardroom things, although Gary Hill, the manager, probably said he was hoping to give him a new contract, but I'm sure he wasn't involved in the decision making for that. But from the club, it's a lack of class. The fans were completely on Rance's side, rightly so.
Of course, they're going to be on Rance's side.
Unfortunately, that doesn't get him a new contract, though.
But Dean Rance, he did. To be fair to him, he came straight back. He had a chat with a lot of the fans on Twitter. He said, you know, you deserve far better than this. Don't apologise to me. Just try and do something to help your club out. But very strange one. Have you got any more, lads?
No.
Can I move on to one jovial story to end it then? Because we don't want to end on that, do we? As you all know, we talked about some of the exciting football this week. Mm-hmm. One of which was the second leg between Ajax and Spurs. Yeah. But I'm going to take you back to the slightly more dull affair of the first leg last week.
Was it dull?
Well, it was.
Well, in comparison to the second.
Comparison to what happened this week,
let's call it tactical. Okay. So there was a Dutch footballer who is a fan of Ajax.
Right.
He was playing for...
When you say that, like professional football?
Professional football. Right, playing for second tier side Telstar.
Right.
And his name is... His name is Jordi van der Laan. Okay.
What's his name?
I've got to say that.
Jordi van der Laan.
That's beautiful.
Van der Laan. Jordi van der Laan.
That's beautifully read.
Thank you.
So he made the slightly unusual, unprofessional, but possibly as a football fan, understandable decision last week to throw a sickie last Tuesday.
Oh, he didn't go to training.
So he called in sick for training and said, I'm really sorry, I'm feeling awful, I can't go in. And then what happened, a bit like me when I did it for my GCSE exam and got spotted at Liverpool v Luton, he got spotted on the TV in the Ajax end in London at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh man.
He was, as you would imagine, sacked not long after that.
Oh, that's a bit fucking... Just fine him.
We've got to put a bit of context into this. He was out of contract at the end of the season. He hadn't been playing for a while. He was going to be out anyway. But I just like that, obviously, there was a few people like you saying, oh, you can't sack him for that, it's a little bit too much. But he actually just made an absolute laugh of it, and I thought it was brilliant. I mean, he probably struggled to get another club at that level of professionalism. But he just made a laugh. It said, you know, I made the right decision, I don't mind going, and what are the chances of getting spotted on TV? But I just thought, for a second-tier footballer, we mentioned about the excitement of the week as neutral fans, for an Ajax fan to go, do you know what? I'm a professional footballer. I'm not going to go in to play football for a living because I want to go and watch Ajax in London. And I just thought, absolutely brilliant.
Bad luck over there.
Good news for him, though, because of his plight and the inevitable sacking afterwards. He actually, he said he had an appointment with a GP, which didn't work out well when he got spotted on TV. But he got offered a free ticket for the home leg, which obviously didn't end too well for them. But he got offered a ticket for the game in exchange for a few favours and a round of beer and buying the dinner, which he took up. So he then got to go to the second leg as well, despite no longer having a job.
Did you hear about the Spurs fan that he left at half time?
No.
Yeah, he left at half time because obviously Ajax were 2-0 up. obviously.
Just enjoy the country, the brilliant state.
Where are you
You're never
going
to go to Holland again.
It's not like
Well, I know where you could possibly go.
No, but what I mean is if
your flight's not going to be till after 11 at the earliest.
That's what I mean. If you're like the home team or whatever, I'm not saying it's right, but obviously you've got to go home. You must live, somewhere in that country. So for example, if you went to Spurs and you lived in London, you might go early to beat the crowds. Where are you going to go apart from back to your hotel or somewhere else in Amsterdam? Like,
well,
that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, that is ridiculous.
And obviously,
he deserves everything he gets for fucking missing that.
Fortunately enough for him, he actually got on the news. I think he got on TalkSport or something like that, or Sky Sports News.
Yeah, but he missed possibly his side's
greatest-
best ever
Do you know
45
what?
minutes.
Do you know what? You deserve that.
Oh, what a strike, Pamero! An unbelievable strike from the Frenchman.
Okay, it is now time for the unofficially sponsored by Noé Pamero Name the Matchday Squad.
Hey, no way.
So
He's still not watching.
No, he's still not going to watch it, and he's not going to sponsor us. So the rules are on the screen, but I'm going to take it in turns, naming the players who took part in the game of my choice. Sudden death, must have full names, blah, blah, blah. You all know the rules by now.
I'm on the comeback trail. If you haven't listened to the last
So
two
the
weeks,
score
go and find
is...
them.
What's the score?
I
I'm
believe it's
smashing
13-6, but the last two have been won by me. So
I don't think this will be a long game. But
There's a
this
reason
is
why
going to
Cody's
test.
won the last two.
This is going to test your knowledge of Premier League football, possibly if you played FIFA around this time. So, tend to now, when we do this quiz, I do it on games that either have just happened or are going to happen. At the time of recording of this, tomorrow's League One playoff semi-final between Portsmouth and Sunderland. So,
I bet he's
See,
doing.
I didn't think you were going to be smart enough to go there.
I bet you he's done the Portsmouth 4-1 win at Sunderland.
no, I haven't. No, I've just gone back to the last time they played each other in the Premier League.
Which was 09-10.
09-10.
And who was at Portsmouth at that season?
I can neither confirm nor deny if Noé Pamero played, but
He was definitely a Portsmouth fan.
we are going back to Portsmouth versus Sunderland, the 9th of February 2010. The game finished 1-1. Referee was Kevin Friend, and there were 16,000 people at Fratton Park. It was a nothing game, of very little significance as far as I'm aware. But how well do you know those
16th
squads
February,
at that
Portsmouth
time?
would have been as good as down.
What year?
We're talking about
09-10.
09-10,
Oh,
2010.
Pompey went down.
Financial.
Just so you know, Portsmouth made 3 subs, and Sunderland also made 3.
Yeah.
Oh, there was also 2 red cards for Sunderland and a red card for Portsmouth.
Well, that's given me one Sunderland player.
Right, Craig, what time is it for? What time is it, sorry?
It's cue music. Oh god, I don't know where we're going to start with this one.
Well, luckily, I went first last week, Craig.
Did you?
I did.
So, just think about those squads around that time.
Well,
There's some-
Charlie's going to have a lot of editing again, isn't
I've got to say, there are some brilliant names here. Brilliant names.
Let's go with Darren Bent.
My friend Darren Bent, yes, he did play for Sunderland that day. He scored a penalty on the 12th minute.
So, I know...
When was this?
2010, 9th of February 2010. Portsmouth goal was scored in the 90th minute.
So I know, obviously, quite a lot of the Portsmouth players from that squad, but I'm taking a complete shot in the dark at whether they played in that game. So the first one I'm going to go for is a player who played a lot of games that year, but I don't know if he played this one. My old friend, could play left back or left wing, Nadir Belhaj.
Nadir Belhaj come on as a sub in the 78th minute.
Good, but he was a sub for 2 positions, so you've always got that chance.
But he did come on, yeah.
Good lad.
Next to his bio here that I'm reading, it says, defender, left back. Craig.
Kevin Prince Boateng.
That was my next one.
Boast.
It looks like it might be a good job I didn't go for it.
Kevin Prince Boateng did not play for Portsmouth that day, unfortunately.
And do you know what? Fuck Portsmouth and Sunderland. I'd rather lose this one.
Okay, right.
So I'm going to go through some of the names I've got in my head, and again, they all played for Portsmouth that season, but it's whether they played in that game. So I've got Aaron McQuenna, Ruben Rocha, I've got Sean Davis,
It's not Ruben
David
Rocha.
Nugent. What was his name?
should have said
Ricardo Rocha.
You shouldn't have said anything, because if you'd have gone for that, it'd have been...
Well, that's a good job. He wouldn't have been number one on my list, let's put it that way. Obviously, our legendary unofficial sponsor, Noé Pamero, was at the Portsmouth squad at that time. Don't think he played. I'm going to go for what I think is the safest bet of the lot, because I think he was club captain, is Aaron McQuenna. Oh no.
Unfortunately,
What?
We're back in the game.
What?
Aaron McQuenna did not play in that game
What?
either.
I've
So
got
Craig,
a-
you're
I've got
back,
a
you're
chance.
back on a sudden, was it like
This is sudden death.
dog
isn't it?
life or whatever you call
Oh
it.
my god, goodness me, like you missed a penalty. Lee Catmull.
Lee
Probably one
Campbell
of the
did
red
play
cards.
for Sunderland and he did get sent off after 54 minutes for a second bookable offence.
So I am going to go for one of the other names I listed a minute ago on the hope that they played, and I'm going to go for Ricardo Rocha.
Ricardo Rocha did play, and if you hadn't said anything, Craig, he'd have been wrong because he'd have said Ruben Rocha. But yes, he did play. I was actually sent off, after 9 minutes.
He loves
Why
it
is
in
this
the car.
game still going?
You can get one wrong if you want. I can name you some players that weren't at either of those clubs. Ashley Cole wasn't at either of those clubs.
Well, that's a bit obvious, wasn't it? I'm going to go for a complete random one because I said I don't like these two teams. Freddie Picquion.
He will play.
He started for Portsmouth that day, yes.
Oh, you've just put John Utaka in my head, but he was so often a sub. So often a sub, and I just don't know. I'm going to go Sean Davis first, but I don't know that he played.
Sean Davis did not play, unfortunately.
Craig Savage. You have won the quiz.
You have won it, unbelievably.
That's all your tactics, I fucking knew.
Did John Utaka play in that game?
No, I'll go through the team. There's some cracking names here. Right, so for Portsmouth, David James.
Oh, David James.
Steve Finnan, Tal Ben Haim, Ricardo Rocha, Angelos Bassinas,
Oh, wow.
Mark Wilson, Papa Bouba Diop, Jamie O'Hara, Hassan Yebda, Aruna Dindan, Freddie Picquion. Coming off the bench that day for Portsmouth, Kanu, Nadir Belhaj, Danny Webber.
Wow.
Also on the bench that day, Jamie Ashdown, Hayden Mullins, Richard Hughes, Quincy Owusu Abeyi, and the other three that I've already named who come on. Right, Sunderland that day. Also, sent off from, I've already said that, sorry. Sunderland, Craig Gordon in goal. Now, you can forgive my pronunciation. Lorik Canna, C-A-N-A.
Shanna.
Yeah, Shanna. Alan Hutton, Matt Kilgannon, Michael Turner, George McCartney, Lee Catamol, Steve Malbronk, Andy Reid, Darren Bent, and Kenwyn Jones.
Terrible.
Coming off the bench that day
Is Roy
for...
Keane in charge then?
No, it's Steve Bruce.
Oh, right.
coming off the bench that day were Bolo Zenden, David Myler, and Phil Bardsley.
Why does Bolo Zenden turn up every single week? He's
He was
turned
in
up
last
more
week's.
than
He was in
Tamara
last
now.
week's one. He was in last week.
Also on the bench that day who didn't come on, Trevor Carson, Paulo Da Silva, Michael Liddell, and unbelievably Benjani.
Wow.
Because he is rubbish. Well, the streak is back. I'm not happy with that, to be honest.
Why are you not happy? You've just beaten him.
Yeah, I know, but it's
It was
a,
just
Okay,
a
so
crap
look,
game.
it's a
Roy.
Craig,
crap
you were on
I
death's
was so
door.
sure you were going to go for that Arsenal-Chelsea.
yeah,
League
so
Cup
was
final.
I.
Yeah, but you were some good names there. It'd been too obvious if I'd have done that. And
No, we wouldn't have. We
no,
would have
no.
loved it.
I'm better than that. As I've just
You
proven.
got and proved. And that is it for today's Honest Football Podcast, Ramble. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter at HonestFootball3. And you can follow Cody at FM Load. And you can follow me on at CraigSavage89.
That's the second time you've done your own Twitter handle in
You
one
clown.
episode. Not having that.
And we'll see you next time.